All right. So last where we left off, y'all had just gotten the thing out of the well, the centerpiece back of it, back to your order, Mr. Body and Syphon, and then the townspeople started sounding alerts. We're going to kind of just briefly go through that to move things forward. So basically, what was triggering the alarm were the Necron forces having caught up and tracked the boy down to this village, and they were approaching. Um, Big battle ensues. During the process, the boy and Nance actually end up getting in trouble. They're surrounded by some of the soldiers. The first one to get there is Syphon. So how would you take care of that to protect Nance and Mark?
Could I just like directly engage?
Okay,
Try and
but
take
like, yeah, what exactly do you do though? Like, how do you?
So are they surrounded?
They're backed against the wall, basically.
And I'm coming from behind
Correct.
them. So like just try to knock them out.
Okay. How are you gonna try to do that?
With a punch? I don't think I have any weapons.
Okay. Well, you have your powers and everything too, so.
Yeah. Not sure.
But yeah, you can run up and just basically attack them from behind.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead and roll. Okay, so yeah, you move in, you see him there, you run up from behind and kind of leap into the air, knocking out one with the punch directly to the back of the head, which kind of knocks him to the side. You use that one to shove the other one, but the last one gets in and moves in to reach for the boy, and Nancy kind of tries to tackle him, but misses, and she gets tossed to the side. But then you're able to turn around and take that last one out there and save the two of them. Basically, gonna do like one quick action for this whole scene for everybody, and then move things along. Let's see, Polymer. You find that some of them are actually coming after you, even though you were kind of back away. They seem to be coming directly for you, which you figure they're tracing your own mark. So how do you evade or stop?
Hang on, you were kind of in and out there for a second. What was it?
Oh, you notice that some of the forces, like three of them, are coming directly at you. Even as you move, they seem to know where you are without being able to see you, and you deduce that it's from your own mark that you have from when you were created. And so, how do you either evade or stop those three?
Is the mark anywhere that I can like physically reach it with my hands, or are we talking like right that spot on your back that you can never reach?
Yeah, you've seen it in the past, and it's on the back in an area that you can't really reach very well.
Excellent. I was gonna say cut it off, but that's not gonna happen. If it's you said it was horses coming at me.
No, forces, like three soldiers of the three Necron soldiers.
Three of them, my chances aren't great. I guess if I can, when one gets close, try to knock them off and use false bond if I have an opportunity.
Let me look at that one real quick.
So it's basically just
okay, yeah.
writing myself into their memory.
Yeah, so you kind of take to the hiding as they turn the corner. You like grab onto one of them, and so go ahead and roll. Yeah, so you weave in, and their memories in their heads are kind of weird. And if this were your first time dealing it, you probably wouldn't be able to. But you've dealt with the thoughts of the Necron forces and their unlife creatures and everything else, and so you know how to weave this new memory in there. And as you do, showing a history of kinship with him, the other two turn to attack you, and he steps in between and basically slices both of them in two before they can realize what's going on. So during all of this, the townsfolk are some are running, some are trying to fight. A lot of them are dying. Respec. You see a bunch of people in danger. You've been kind of going from soldier to soldier, cluster battle to cluster battle. So this last one you turned upon is nearing the well where it was. A group of women and children have actually kind of been surrounded and are being shackled up and enslaved. So what do you do?
Um, if I go after one of these, how likely are they to like just turn on one of the people that they've shackled?
Well, I mean, they aren't known for their morality, but you can't be sure because at the same time they don't want to hurt the wares.
Okay. I'm going to try to get into the head of one of them.
Okay.
Just
And what are you looking for or trying to do?
um, what do we know about these people? I'm sorry, it's been a while.
Yeah, no. They're a very isolationist country. A lot of necromantic magic. There's no guarantee that these forces, that the soldiers are even entirely alive. Um, but otherwise, they tend to stick to themselves, except when they go on the occasional slaving raid or when they're trying to retrieve escaped slaves.
Okay, I'm just going to go for the straight up attack their brain, then just the try to stab them in the brain with my mind.
Let's see. All right, so
Oh, that would be create a mind fog, which would give somebody else +1 to directly engage. And it looks like I get to pick one from directly engage. So frighten. I'm going to try to frighten them.
okay. So yeah, as they're moving in to try to clasp these bindings onto the people, they start moving a little slower and kind of start looking around a little bit more confused, as if their orders have suddenly become unclear, or even what they're doing or where they are. And what do you unleash in their minds to try to frighten them, or is it just amp up the emotion, no actual imagery or anything?
Um, I probably wouldn't know exactly what it is, but I imagine it would be like their boss or something like that.
Okay. And suddenly they kind of look around, what you can see on their eyes, like wide eyed, and they like snap to attention, and that's something that's not there, and they all give a nod and like kind of a unison and like run off in another direction, like seemingly away from the village, following these new orders that you have no idea what they were, but it's put a shock into them. And Mr. Body, you had the orb that y'all retrieved from the well, and you knew that putting it in water and boiling the water caused it to destroy itself, basically burn it out. You were looking for some sort of distillery type tools to get it in one go before these people attacked. One thing you've noticed though is as these darker forces with the necromantic magic have gotten closer, the orb itself seems to be reacting to it stronger and stronger. And it almost seems like as you watch, like it's making the forces themselves stronger a little bit too, giving some insight into the idea that they may not be entirely alive. Um, you are in kind of a barn. There may not be an actual distillery, but there would be parts and pieces that you could try to makeshift something to try to burn it out, basically. Would that be what you're doing, or would you be more trying to take out the forces?
So I was looking for a distillery for the water, like the town's water, right?
No, I thought you were doing it, looking for it to destroy the orb.
No.
Okay, it's been a while. I forgot.
It was because the water was still tainted, and so I was trying to figure
right.
out. I was trying to figure out if there was a way for them to purify their water before, drinking.
That's right. Okay, yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, I think we were going to take the orb back to wherever the.
That's right.
That's right.
Yeah, y'all sent some pieces of it back in the powdered crystalline form that y'all created. I know that much. My mistake. But you do notice it like kind of growing and like energy, like the sense that you could get it from it, the weird anti-life sense, like emanating stronger as the forces get closer.
Okay, is there a horse anywhere nearby?
Was that a horse?
Yeah, horse.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd be able to find one.
Okay, I'm gonna get on a horse and just start riding out of town with the orb.
Okay. Yeah, so go ahead and roll. It's going to be directly engaged, but it's basically one of the options is to avoid taking damage or anything, so it's basically a dodge roll. Okay, yeah, so you get like a nick on your leg from a sword as you pass by, but nothing that's too deep or damaging or anything like that as you keep riding, ignoring the forces, and everybody else kind of sees you making a run for it as they clear up, and the fight goes on a little bit. Some more civilians do end up dying, but y'all are able to help stop the Necron forces. You free all the women and children. Mark, y'all managed to actually. It's painful, but you cut off the mark on him, so or at least part of it, so to break the magic. And he stays with the village as they start trying to recover and everything, and give you all the three of you horses. And you figure you don't know where Mr. Body was going, but yeah, y'all know y'all were all heading to the Spire, so it's likely the direction he was heading. Is that correct, Mr. Body?
Yeah.
Yeah. So y'all meet up. He had stopped a little bit out. Y'all meet up there, continue your travel at that point. And so it's been another day, made camp, moved on. And now, finally, you start approaching the tower itself. Did that picture load for anybody?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, it did not on mine. Weird. All right. As you approach, normally the tower itself would be emanating a brilliant emerald light, just giving off vitalizing energy to the landscape around it. But instead, everything's kind of like murky and almost swamp-like instead of the vast green fields that there should be. And the tower itself is dark, but instead of it is still emanating something, but it's a dark pulse that's stretching out this inky blackness into the sky that looks like parts of it are actually sticking to the sky and stretching across, creating like a weave of this blackness over the area above. And much to your dismay, I would imagine, a number of armies have gathered around the tower. Not sure what's going on with it, but they want this new power for itself. There's giant crabs armed out in like what look like seashells, basically, that are fighting steampunk style looking mecha. There are elves throwing magic at skeletal forces. Like all of the nations are represented here. Um, really, Polymer would be the only one that doesn't recognize all of them. And so at this point, you would have time to either just run into battle or actually try to plan something or.
So we basically just walked in on a war zone?
Effectively, yes. It's still a ways off. Y'all didn't like walk in directly into it, like you're in the middle of battle now, but you can see what's going on from a distance as you were approaching.
Is it possible to see where the object either did it crash into the ground or did it crash into the spire?
It's really difficult to tell just because of the way the landscape has changed so much. But given the light that's pulsating up, something is definitely most likely in the spire. but whether it hit outside and was brought there, or if it's still outside and like kind of with the well and burrowed under, you don't know.
So go around, everyone. That cool?
Yeah, I definitely don't think we should engage.
Well, I mean, there's parts that are less combative than others, but it's more or less around the entire spire, not just directly between you, but from all other directions too.
Is there anyone that is like an ally, to, I guess, the Infinite Council?
Well, you don't know if they're necessarily allies, but you know there are Triforian forces there, as the mecha would be from your nation. It's the only one that has that sort of technology. But not everybody is friends with everybody, so you have no way of knowing for sure if they would be full allies.
Oh, that's right. We don't know fully why all of us are going to the Spire.
Not each other, yeah. Of course, Polymer, you, like the stories you had heard, the reason you're here, seeing this, it's completely counter to what you've heard. And so I would imagine it might be a little bit disappointing.
Yeah, but I'm gonna assume I'm kind of used to disappointment at this point, so I probably wasn't putting a ton of stock into it.
So I don't know if you wanted to plan, or you're just going to basically charge in, or...
I definitely think we should plan.
Hmm.
So I was thinking we could either go and speak to if there's like any leaders or whatever. I don't know, we don't know why they're battling, right?
Not their specific reasons, no. But that they're all drawn here, you can assume it has something to do with whatever's going on with the tower.
Because we could try to find some leaders that, leaders usually don't fight in battles, at least directly. We could go find some leaders and try to talk to them and figure out what's going on, and then see if anybody can help us get inside, or we can look for, a way to sneak in.
Do we know anything about this spire, or was it something that was new or old?
The spire itself is old, and normally it has a green, life-giving energy that it shoots out. But after something came crashing through the atmosphere, it seemed to have changed that. But the exact origins of the tower are kind of like one of those lost in time. There's as many different origin stories as there are, peoples and cultures. If that answers your question.
Yeah. So, pretty much every nation has representatives here right now fighting.
Yes.
Well, if you want to find a leader, maybe we could like circle the outer perimeter of the fighting. See if anybody's standing back.
That's a good point. Yeah, there'd probably be like a camp somewhere, or well, probably multiple camps, really. I guess that would have the leaders.
Yeah, somewhere high out.
Okay, so yeah, as y'all kind of survey the perimeter, like from where y'all are currently standing, just to decide a direction, you can make out what look like they could be makeshift structures, or they could be defensive positions. You don't really know for sure, like further down in a ways, but they are near the edge of the fighting. It's too far to tell the structure style to determine which nation it is exactly. But but you assume, given that, there are likely other ones at other points as well beyond this one.
I guess want to move in closer, see if, until we can make out what faction any given camp belongs to. Find one that would be specifically allied with you people, since none of them are going to be with me.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
Okay, so y'all are gonna head towards that one just to see who it is, and if not, keep looking.
Yep.
Okay, so y'all start making your way through at a distance, careful to try to not be seen. As you get closer, Respec, you do recognize that the little structure is a command tent from Deviled.
Oh, good. I needed to report in anyway.
The forces around it are a bit far out, locked in combat. Now, as you approach, normally there'd be a couple of guards at the front entrance and at least one around the perimeter, but you don't see any of the guards.
Oh. If nobody stops me, I'm going to go to the... I mean, like nobody in the party. I'm going to go to the flap of the tent and just kind of, jangle it. Sort of a tent version of knocking.
I could see if anyone's in there first.
Oh, yeah, that's what I meant by, like, if anybody wants to stop me before I do that.
I'm just afraid of someone being in there and, like, being alert, and, like, throwing a knife at your face or something.
Go for it.
I'm gonna try to use my power. I guess unleash.
Okay, just kind of sense any life forms inside.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, go ahead and roll. You do not detect anything living. You are getting faint hints of the same kind of oddness that you get from the orb, though.
Oh, great. From inside the tent, or just in general?
Inside the tent.
Okay, I tell that to Respec. Well, I tell that to everybody, but yeah.
Okay, so expect trouble.
Maybe. There could just be, like, shards or something. I don't know. It's faint. Right, you said it was faint, right, Kyle?
Yes.
Yeah, so maybe there's not anything in there, or maybe it's just residual from the thing that hit the tower.
If you want to go ahead and roll Unleashed again real quick. Okay. Yeah, you kind of get the same as you to test the water. You kind of expand beyond the tent, and it does feel like everywhere has some level of that sensation getting stronger as you get closer to the tower, like it's spreading out from it. So your residual idea seems to be on target.
But there may at least be like some kind of documents or something in the tent. There's nobody, if there's really nobody in there. To get a sense of why they're here and what they're doing.
All right, so should we go in? Just be prepared.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. But I think that just in case someone is in there, maybe you should go in first, since you would be a more familiar type face.
Respec with nod. Okay, everybody okay with this?
Yeah.
All right, now she's going to reach out and kind of shake the flap of the tent just in case.
Okay, so as you flap it, there's no real movement or no response, although you do hear a slight like splorching sound.
Yeah, I'm going to pull it open.
Yeah, as you do, you realize that sound, as the smell of kind of blood just kind of rushes out, was probably this piece of some sort of like fleshy chunk that was probably on the flap. It's landing directly at your feet inside, right where the flap was rested when you shook it and knocked it loose. As inside is just a shower of gore and entrails and body parts inside. You see the commander and 3 guards that would have been stationed there, just all in pieces. Go ahead and roll to assess.
Okay.
This is only you would. This would only be for you.
All right. Nope.
Okay, yeah, you're too overcome with just like the scene, unexpected of your country people slaughtered.
Yeah.
To really pick up anything else from it. And anybody, if they were behind you, if y'all look in, you would see this inside as well. Just this horrific scene. There is a desk in there that does look like it had some paperwork on it, but it is covered in blood and body parts as well.
I'll be outside.
I kind of like pat him on the shoulder as he passes by. I'm gonna go in and look at the stuff that's on the desk.
Okay. It's hard to make out exactly what was on there. You do see a few headers coming from the Deviled High Command Council to deploy here. Don't really make out specifics because of just how the sorry state of the papers that they're in, but there is something there rather about getting whatever it is that impacted in the area, but you don't see why or anything else.
I have a feeling that's why everybody's here.
And as you look closer, just around in general, you do see slight little black marks, like inky little tendrils of darkness, kind of rising up out of the ground and latching onto the body parts. They're very tiny. Like if you hadn't had sensed them in the area, you wouldn't have even thought to look for them, so you probably wouldn't have noticed them. But it looks like they're being claimed by this anti-life substance that seems to be everywhere now.
Okay, so I tell the team that it looks like at least these guys were here to get a hold of whatever hit the tower. And I also have suspicions that that's probably why everyone is here. And it also looked like this evil force that's tainting the land is feeding off of the dead bodies, the pieces of flesh. Which sounds like a good way for something like this to, survive. Attract everybody to one area, make them fight over you, and then feed off of their dead bodies.
From where we are, can we see any of the other camps?
You can make out in the distance a couple of other ones at different locations, but again, they're so far apart you can't really tell which is which. And the fighting itself is so mixed up and scattered, it's hard to, like, there's not just a cluster of, oh, well, that's clearly the La Mantra people because it's all sea life there. The sea life type creatures and war machines are everywhere, that type of thing. So you can't really judge it by that.
Okay. I point out the nearest, whatever the nearest camp is. Do you think the same fate might have befallen the other camps?
I guess we could go to the next camp and take a look.
Yeah, let's go.
So Respec, what are you doing?
I'm trying not to look at my lunch as I stepped outside and
Okay, so did you hear all the stuff they said, or do you have any reaction to any of it, or?
Not really. I imagine she's a bit in shock, but she'll nod and she'll go along with them.
Okay. So yeah, so you start making your way to the next one, and as you get closer and closer to it, it looks like the tent is like kind of a patchwork of different animal leathers, which, again, everybody but Polymer would recognize as most likely being from Alasarath, as they are more primitive type of people. And as y'all kind of watch, you're proven correct, as from out of the tent, what looks to be one of their guards comes out, and he's kind of like skulking around, like watching, making sure nobody's approaching. So there's clearly still activity in this tent. They're not all slaughtered inside.
Can we hear any sounds? Is there a struggle going on or anything?
Nothing that you can detect over the regular sound of the battle itself.
Can I reach out and feel minds in there?
Yeah, go ahead and roll.
Okay.
It'd be unleash.
Oh, okay. I was looking at that because one of the options was link minds with an NPC.
Oh, okay. If you want to like
Gain plus one to pierce the mask after the. Yeah.
Oh, okay, you're going for that route. Okay, I thought you're just sensing if minds were there. Okay.
Oh, yeah, I could do unleash.
Yeah, you went robot-y there, but yeah. So
yeah, if you prefer unleash, I can do that. I just.
Oh no, that's fine. Like I said, I misunderstood what you were talking about whenever you said if you can sense any minds in there. Yeah. So okay. So as you do reach out and you can sense that there are at least 3 other minds in the tent, plus the one with the guard. You kind of connect with one of them, and it does appear to be like everything seems fine in the tent as you kind of sense what he's sensing as they're speaking in a tongue you don't understand, mostly grunts and noises more than an actual verbal language, as it seems to be planning and plotting their next move in the fight.
They seem to be okay.
I would be really wary about trying to talk to anybody who doesn't recognize who we are, or well, at least like our race or whatever clan. I don't know, whatever
Your nations and all that.
Yeah, because they're all in fight mode, so they're probably going to think whoever tries to come in is like trying to attack them or something.
And I don't think I can communicate with them.
I might be able to, but they would probably be, pretty upset and not want to communicate.
Mr. Body, yeah, go ahead and roll well learned.
Or not.
Yeah, I mean, you recognize the nation and everything else, but that's one of the languages you never picked up just because it was so primitive. And they can learn other languages, so the leader may know other ones, but yeah, typically the average citizen doesn't.
I think we should check out the next camp.
I agree. I don't think we're going to learn anything here unless it turns to the other two. Unless one of you two can speak to them.
Yeah, let's move on.
Not I, no.
It is surprising that such primitives could survive what the leadership from my own nation could not. Wonder if they're responsible. Starts to turn back towards the tent.
Yeah, that one guard who came out, he's still just kind of like pacing around the tent, watching. Y'all are pretty well hidden off in a distance still.
Did we get like an idea of what might have done that to the people in the DeVille tent or whatever it's called?
That's what your assess was for.
Oh, okay. So I have no idea if these people did it or not.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like they were hacked apart with weapons, not like torn apart with hands or anything like that. But beyond that, yeah, you wouldn't know.
Hmm.
And the weapons used by these people tend to be primitive as well.
I think we can take them.
So you wanna take them out?
No, we've got bigger. Kind of deflates a little bit. There's more important things. If I actually had conditions marked, I might, but
Hey, we still have the kid with us, right?
No, he stayed behind at the village. No, he stayed behind at the village. Y'all managed to break the magic on his mark by cutting a piece of his flesh off, and he stayed behind there.
Oh, okay.
no, there's no point in just running in and killing them. We won't learn anything.
Well, we might, but yeah. But I guess if we don't know their language, it'd be kind of difficult.
Right? They probably don't even have writing.
Want to move on to the next camp? See if we can find the next camp.
Yeah.
Okay, so y'all start making your way to the next one. As you get close enough to make it out, Syphon and Mr. Body, you both recognize it is definitely from Triforia, as the building, and that's what it is a building. It's not even a tent. Looks to have been grown up out of the builder blocks that are pretty common in your nation. And there aren't any guards on the outside of it, but that's not uncommon, as it has automated defenses of sort of like arrow-like turrets or crossbow-like turrets on the corners that use magic to detect motion and fire. It's kind of automated.
Oh, great. Is there some sort of like universal sign that Triforans have of like greeting or?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
effectively a magic word type of thing that lets it know that it's a friendly approaching, but it has to be given by somebody that actually has it in their DNA. So, like if Respec learned the word, she couldn't still use it to approach. So, y'all are fine with it.
So we can tell everyone else to hang back while we go check it out.
Yeah. If that's okay with everybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so with them staying behind, y'all kind of give the word, and as y'all approach, it target trains on you, one of the turrets, but it doesn't fire as it has received the proper code. But as it does, the door from the front, you can't actually see it yet, but opens, and out comes two soldiers in standard armor. Kind of, they have their, it's not really a gun, but it's basically a gun in hand as they kind of train it on you and just identify yourselves. We know you're of our people, but these are interesting times.
Greetings, friends. Please don't shoot. We are just traveling here and saw that there was a battle going on and thought that maybe we could find. We saw the I don't know what the mechanized units are called. The steampunk. And I'm saying this to you, not to them.
Right.
But that's what I'm saying to them. We saw that, and we were like, "Oh, our people are here and are fighting. We should figure out what's going on."
Yes. So what brings you to this area to begin with, good sir?
Is our mission like top secret, or would these people like be fine?
They would know of the society itself. They wouldn't necessarily know that they had a mission related to the tower.
And how would they be on someone like me? Or would I even be someone they'd necessarily notice?
Well, you stayed back, otherwise they wouldn't get shot.
Oh, yeah, that of course, yeah.
Yeah. So, well, you're covered up too and everything, so that's to hide your nature.
So I just answered. So we're from the Ouroboros Society. We were sent in this direction for a mission. To keep it vague.
And kind of look at each other side-eyed a little bit and kind of stand at ease a little bit and just motion for you to come in the tent. Or the building, rather.
So we're going.
Yeah.
Okay. As you go in, something else that's not uncommon, so it doesn't catch you off guard, is that it's much bigger on the inside than on the outside. There's actually about 25 people gathered inside the building, sitting around a kind of a council table. In the middle of it, like a holographic display coming up from a crystal showing the battlefield as they plan and plot their next moves, move units across the field, almost like they're playing a video game to compete with the battle. At the front of the table, the center, at the far side of the room, is who you assume is the commanding officer, based on their attire and regalia.
And it's not someone we recognize.
Go ahead and both of you roll assess. It's not anybody y'all know personally, but you do recognize him as Commandant Shinzum, a fairly well-known military leader. And the guards kind of motion for y'all to wait as they kind of go about plotting the next few stages of action. And one of them walks over and whispers something to Shinzum and kind of looks over and motions for you to come over there.
Okay, then I guess we approach, or I approach.
Yeah, same.
Okay. Yeah, as you get up, he tells the person next to him just to keep things going, let him know if anything changes, and he gets up and walks to the back where another door is and opens it up to his private quarters in there and invites y'all in. So y'all all go in. He shuts the door. He sits down at his desk in there. There's a couple of other chairs that are in there as well. He motions for you to sit. So, didn't realize you people had anything going on out here. You didn't clear this with the military, did you? Y'all know y'all didn't. The society didn't.
What we're just following orders, just like you guys are.
What are your orders?
to come check out what happened to the tower.
That damn tower. It's lost so many good men and machines today.
Why are you out here?
We learned other nations were on the move here. We weren't sure what had happened. We knew something, but we hadn't quite learned what. But with everyone else on the move, we had to make our way here too. We can't let somebody else getting an advantage, potentially, from an off-world source. Have you learned anything in your mission that can maybe help us turn the tide of battle and put this day to rest?
No, but we've learned that it's probably better for everybody to fight together instead of trying to get a hold of whatever this power or technology is, because it's very bad. We came from another town where all the townfolk were being killed slowly by it because it was poisoning the town's water. All their crops were dying, and everything. Yeah, it was really bad, and it had been going on for a long time. And the reason was because there was a piece of whatever has struck the tower has fell into their well. We were able to remove it, but it was destroyed in the process.
So you don't show them that you still have it?
Oh no.
Okay. Well, our intentions weren't to come here for a fight, but that just seemed to have happened. 50 years of peace treaty seemed to matter to no one. With that information, it may be best to change our tactics and just destroy the tower. He kind of pauses and just looks to be like in deep thought on the matter.
What? So, what is the tower? What is the tower do? I'm asking you.
Yeah. Normally, when it was functioning properly, it kept the area like year round. Like, kind of think of almost like the Savage Land in Antarctica from X-Men. How like you had this jungle in the middle of the Arctic. No matter the time of year or surrounding conditions, it kept a fairly decent swath of land. Isn't like a perpetual spring/summer type of state. The water there was always clean and pure. The animals always thrived. It wasn't really owned by any one nation or anything, but it was revered pretty much as like a natural park, a natural wonder by all of them, except for Necron. They just didn't go there because, summer, light.
So, I don't think destroying the tower is a good idea. It does so much for this land and keeps Necron out. Also, we were attacked by Necron soldiers, so they may have something to do with this. Are they here? Are they part of the fight?
Baffling, but yes, they are here. They weren't the first to arrive, but here they are, fighting, and of course with every fallen soldier from one of the other kingdoms, their ranks grow as their damn necromancers bring them back.
Another problem with destroying the tower. So I'm asking you again, has something ever happened in the past, since we're the technological society, culture, whatever, do we have problems with like waste where, things like we spill a fuel or something that's similar to like oil spills or, nuclear fallout or whatever?
in the early days, most of that's been taken care of now, and even the natural byproducts of the industry that you'll have really good reclamation treatments and everything. So, like even if something spills into the water, y'all have learned how to purify it properly and restore it pretty quickly.
So I tell him that the main issue with this stuff seems to be that it taints the land, and so this taint would be here whether or not you destroyed the tower. So I think that we need to find the source and we need to remove it, and then we need to destroy it.
And you, Death Agent, what do you think?
I agree with my partner.
He just kind of surprised there. Figured, all of this sort of chaos would be right up your alley.
What's that supposed to mean?
Don't worry about it. I mean, clearly he has some sort of a problem with the death aspect of the Ouroboros Society. But he doesn't go on past that unless you press the issue.
I just glare at him.
So, outside, Respec, go ahead and roll assess again. Okay, as y'all are waiting and you start kind of surveying, watching the battle and everything, and you do notice that there's a distinct size advantage in the forces of Deviled versus everyone else, as if like there was some sort of like joint effort to take them out first. It's just it's odd. Your people should be faring better, unless they just send a small force. You don't know that for sure, but it seems unlikely that they would have sent fewer numbers than everyone else.
Well, I mean, it does make sense. We're superior, so they would team up against us.
Back inside the Commandant, do you think the two of you can get in there and stop whatever it is if we run a distraction?
That's why we came to you, because we wanted to see if you could assist us getting inside the tower. So any help that you have would be definitely helpful.
Very well. I'm putting a lot of faith in you that the two of you will accomplish this. This is going to be risky for my men. And he gets up and go and be ready. We have some planning to do. As he kind of like motions to the door of the main room for y'all to leave.
Okay, so I guess we leave.
Yep.
And as y'all start walking out, you hear him belaying new orders for, this lieutenant to call his forces over to this area and for this officer to move his forces here. And they start rearranging the battlefield basically with the forces. As y'all leave, the two guards on the outside kind of nod to you as y'all walk past. And out further away, Respec and Polymer, y'all see the two of them exiting.
So I guess we go over to them, so that, because we didn't tell them about having
Right.
friends. So we go over to them, or I mean, I'm going to say to Syphon, we should go over to them and tell them what's going on. So I guess we do that.
Okay. So you reapproach, rejoin the group as they're kind of just like watching the battle unfold.
So yeah, we talked to the commander inside the tent, and I've convinced him that he seems to be at least a little more. At least he seems to be reasonable, and he's going to cause a distraction so that we can get inside the tower. I didn't tell them about you guys, so it's probably best if they don't see you still. But yeah, so they're going to cause a distraction for us so we can get inside the tower and try to see if we can find whatever crashed into it.
Okay, I guess that's better than sitting here watching my people get slaughtered.
I also mentioned that it's probably better for everybody to work together, but I don't know if they're going to be able to do anything about that. I don't know why all these other people are here. I'm assuming they all want whatever struck the tower.
And as y'all are talking, you start noticing on the battlefield the Triforian forces kind of like from where they had been scattered, kind of pulling back and amassing in larger numbers as the mecha move in behind them, reinforcing them as they all kind of form up in one fairly large cluster and then scatter a little bit, creating a column between them as they keep the other forces at bay, basically giving you kind of a part to get into the tower. It's the best that they can do without you'll be noticed, most likely running in, but you won't have much in the way of direct opposition.
All right, so I guess they're going to see you guys no matter what. We'll just have to hope they trust us. So is everybody ready to go running into the tower now?
I'm ready.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do this before I change my mind.
Okay, so you're seeing the opening. You make a break for it, and as you'll do, the command building that you body and Syphon had just exited, some of the roof kind of opens up and some more turrets kind of rise up out of it. They also start firing. They don't seem to be firing so much at anybody as much as just creating more chaos on the battlefield, making it less obvious like that what they're doing effectively. As y'all run in and manage to make it through to get to the base of the tower, inside, or rather on the outside along it, there are numerous holes in the walls that don't seem like they would normally be there, as if somebody or something is already either busted in or busted out.
Is there any? What do the holes look like? I guess can I assess?
Yeah. I mean they're pretty large, big enough for people to slip through in and out. But otherwise, I mean they don't seem to be any sort of pattern to them, just like something burst through the wall at multiple points.
Is there a main entrance?
There is. and y'all would have like seen that as you approached, and that the massive doors, they look like they're closed, but they seem kind of off kilter a little bit. Yeah, so the main entrance, the large doors are closed, but slightly off kilter, like they don't look like they're sitting right.
Do we want to try the front door, or do we want to try one of these holes in the side of the side of the tower?
Well, if the door's not sitting right, can we try to just like knock it in?
What was that?
So the door's not sitting right, right?
Yeah, like they're not sitting in the frame properly, but they are both together and closed.
But can we like try and just knock them in?
Maybe. Yeah. That's what everybody wants to try.
All right.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so yeah, y'all get up to them and try to push on them, and they actually deceptively pretty easily fall forward, slamming down, smashing down on the other side, opening up into a large empty, well, nothing's moving inside room. There's a lot of bodies littering the floor, a lot of which were crushed in different states of decay. Everybody except for, well, no, yeah, everybody go ahead and roll assess. Okay. Making up all of the different littered corpses, all of you except for Syphon, you're able to make out that it looks like all of the different nations are represented. Polymer, you can't identify which belongs to which, but it's all types of things you've recognized from the battle. Syphon, you're just kind of, you're unable to pick up on it just because like there's so much like the energy of death kind of permeating the room is almost blocking your senses because there's so much in there and it's fairly fresh despite the look of it, the state of the corpses. And there's along the wall a large stairwell curving up along the wall to getting it to go further up into the spire.
What do the bodies look like? What looks like happened to them? Are they just like kill each other?
Some of them look like they have some wounds. Whether you can't really necessarily tell who inflicted what to who. Some of them look like they just killed over. Some of them are so far rotted that you can't tell how they died. But there's no markings on the walls or anything else that other than the holes in them to suggest like a major battle going on, like you might suggest. But you still have the bodies there.
Is there any of those black tendrils trying to touching them or whatever? Like I saw in the tent.
Yeah, you do notice some in there along them. The ones that are further rotted seem to have more than the others.
Are there any Necron corpses in here?
Yes, you do see some of their armor as well amongst the soldiers that are dead.
All right. And so the stairwell is the only way up.
Yeah.
I look at my companions and I say, "Shall we?"
Do it.
After you.
Oh no!
I agree.
I insist, my friend.
Okay.
Okay, so you'll start heading up the stairs. Mr. Body is taking the lead.
Can I unleash my powers and try to see if I feel any life force?
Okay. There is something that seems to be very distinctly alive, much higher up in the tower, but it's alive, but it's faded as everything else is that same kind of anti-life feeling that you get. It's just so strong here. It's hard to pinpoint its exact location other than above you or how strong it is. But there's something alive in the tower, yes.
I tell my friends that there's definitely something alive higher up in the tower, but I'm not sure if it's good or bad. That's all I know. But I guess we continue on our way up.
Okay. So I'll keep moving up. You get a fair amount past a few floors, and on each floor, as you kind of pass, you do see more corpses, though there's fewer with each level. Um, you get to, it was probably about the sixth level when the stairs seem to kind of be shattered a bit, and they continue up higher, but you can't just walk up to them. But there's like the ground floor on that one you can still walk upon. You just have to figure out how to, get up.
Anybody have any ideas?
I'm sorry. Can you describe it one more time? I think I missed like a chunk.
It's like on the sixth floor, you have the floor itself, but where the stairs would keep going up, a chunk of them are like shattered and broken. And so you can't just like walk up the stairs to the seventh floor. You have to kind of get up onto the ledge to get back up to the stairs to keep going.
Are all the floors so far basically the same? Or does each have like its own theme or anything?
The areas of them that you can see are pretty plain and littered with fewer and fewer corpses with each floor, but otherwise they seem to be pretty uniform.
Okay, so all this is we'd have to climb up that ledge.
How many corpses are on this floor?
This one, looking at about 16.
It is.
About 16. I don't know if that, I guess it didn't go through.
I mean, that's enough that we could climb on.
You mean stack up the corpses and climb up them?
Yeah, basically. Body stairs.
Isn't that a tad bit disrespectful?
Where I come from, bodies are more objects than anything else anyway. So, not to me at least. I'm fine morally.
Guess she'd just kind of shrug and be like, okay.
Sure, why not?
Well, maybe before we climb up on bodies, I can try something. Because I have. Can I use dark designs to make like my arm really long
Yeah.
to try and bridge the gap?
All right. So describe exactly what you do.
So I like use my armor and make my arm long enough to reach up and grab the part of the stairs, right?
Yeah, the next stair up. It would be, yeah.
Yeah, and then I just like pull each person up.
Okay. So yeah, y'all see Syphon kind of extend her arm, and it starts snapping and cracking, and as it extends and the bone grows and changes shape as it grabs on and pulls herself up, and she reaches down to start pulling each of you up.
That's heavy.
Before she gets to me, I remember Nancy's reaction when I just touched her on the shoulder the other day, the last session. Are you sure you want to? Are you sure you don't mind picking me up?
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I don't remember the reaction. What happened?
Oh, she like recoiled in disgust just from me touching her on the arm.
Nancy did?
Yeah, it was when she was leading the kid away.
Okay.
Oh,
no,
yeah.
that's fine.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, so she lifts you all up and you keep going. As you make your way up quite a bit ways more to the point where like there's no more bodies that are on the floors even. It's just empty rooms from as far as you can see. There's still more of the tower that you be able to walk through. But you get closer up until finally, as you're what looks to be the next top floor, or the top of it, and there does seem to be an eerie light coming from the top as well. Like despite the darkness, there's some weird, I don't want to say moonlight, but that's the best description I can think of, kind of, that seems out of place for everything else you've seen in the tower. So I don't know if y'all just plan to just keep walking up or anything else before you go, or...
Yeah, I guess keep going, right?
Is it a steady light, or is there some variance?
It's a slow kind of pulse to it.
And it's coming from where?
The top floor, like where y'all are at, you can kind of like see where the stairs would allow you to walk onto the top floor, but you can't really see into it yet. You haven't walked that high up.
Yeah, I guess keep going.
Okay, so as you walk up, a large, misshapen, fleshy tendril slams into your chest, Mr. Body. Go ahead and roll to take a powerful blow. Okay, so you choose one. So you can lash out verbally, provoking a teammate, give ground, or struggle past the pain, marking 2 conditions. Depending on what you pick, it'll kind of change what happens, exactly how it unfolds.
I guess I'll give ground. Like it just kind of,
Okay.
knocks me back.
Yeah, it smashes into you. Knocks you back down the stairs. Everyone else, go ahead and just roll a flat 2d6 to see if you can get out of the way or not. It should be right under your labels.
Great.
Okay. So as he comes, all of a sudden y'all see Mr. Body kind of get knocked back and come flying down the stairs. Respec and Syphon, you manage to kind of move to the side as Polymer's just kind of, huh? As Mr. Body slams into her, go tumbling down, rolling down the stairs a few more floors before you finally stop. And from the top where Mr. Body was, this thing kind of like lumbers into view. At the center of it is like an emaciated face and torso of what looks to be like may have been a human, but it's kind of stretched apart and growing out, connected to this larger husk of a body as it's been twisted and mutated. It's just kind of like lumbering there, a low growl kind of coming off of its voice as it slowly starts walking down towards y'all. But it's limited movement on the stairs. It's kind of big.
Yeah, I don't think I'm going to get in that thing's head. They went flying down the stairs, though, and this thing's coming.
Mr. Body and Polymer did. Yes, they went down the stairs, and this thing is walking down from the top floor.
I'm going to try to basically get in its way so that they got a chance to recover.
Okay. Just roll defend.
Okay.
Okay, so expose yourself to danger or escalate the situation.
I'm exposing myself to danger by putting myself in the way, I think.
Yeah, just making sure. Okay, so yeah, as you kind of step up, place yourself between, it rears back its tendril-like arm and just comes smashing down on top of you with it. Go ahead and roll to take a powerful blow.
Okay.
Okay, so you're able to, it's telegraphing its moves pretty obviously, so you're able to see what it's going to do and kind of step to the side a little bit as it smashes down directly in front of you, almost hitting you, and the smell coming off of it really hits you hard as it just smells of rotten decay. Syphon?
And I guess I add a team to the pool.
Okay.
I want to try and transform my arms into something sharp.
Okay, well, earlier when you rolled it, you had a full hit, so you held 3, so you only used 1, so you can still use 2 options from Dark Designs if you wanted to.
Okay, so I'm gonna transform my arms into something sharp and try to attack it.
Okay, so as it smashes down, your arm just kind of naturally shifts into almost like a spear type of weapon, and go ahead and roll to directly engage. Okay, so since this is actual, kind of combat, you can pick one of the options from it.
I use that to create an opportunity.
Okay. So as the arm is down, you kind of move up and run up the arm as it's right after it's smashed down, and kind of leap over it as it follows up around to try to smash you as you jump over it. Okay, so as you run up the arm, it smashed down, and you jumped up in front of it and kind of ran up its limb and jumped over its head, and it kind of turns around and reaches around and smashes at you. It now has its back to the others, giving them the opportunity to do something. Go ahead and roll to take a powerful blow, though, as it tries to hit you with its arm. Okay, but with its size and the space, though, you're much too quick for it. It wasn't expecting what you did, and so its arm smashes into the wall behind it as you kind of land on the other side of it. Mr. Body and Polymer, you've kind of gotten back to your feet and running back up the stairs. Did y'all want to do anything?
Let me see. Has anyone? No one's checked to see if there's a mind in it yet, right?
No.
If I can get close enough, I want to use surface skimming just to see, like what it is, what's going on with those things. Like, was it a person that got mutated, or whatever else?
Okay. So yeah, as you get closer to it, yeah, go ahead and roll as you reach out to try to touch its mind.
Yeah. Go ahead and roll.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, you go running up and kind of leap at it a little bit and just barely touch its foot as it's turned around, but it gives you enough to kind of reach in and extend out, and it has a mind, but it's very very primitive, very primordial. It's even less of one than some of the Necronian minds you've touched, where it's just driven by drive to destroy and corrupt and spread itself. Yeah, you can't tell if it was something else or not, but given the look of it and that it wants to spread and corrupt things, it may have been a person at one point. But there's no memories if it was.
Okay, so at this point, no chance of like reasoning our way out of this, right?
Right.
Basically, what I'm hearing. Let me see, because I am not much for the power. I guess I do have a dagger. I'm close enough I can try and stab the head part.
Okay, well, I'm going to count the surface skimming as your action for that round, though. So,
Oh, okay.
Mr. Body, did you want to do anything? As you come back up the stairs, you see it's all happening fairly quickly, but you see that Syphon is on the other side of it. It has its back to you, Polymer and Respec.
Does my culture know anything about like microbial life?
Yeah, they would know some. Probably not as advanced as like our actual sciences, but they would know of germ theory and things like that.
Do we know it like about like fungi and other microbes playing a role in decay?
Yes.
So I want to try to reach out and accelerate the decay process of like fungus or microbes that are, I'm hoping, on the monster.
Okay. Go ahead and roll Unleash. Okay, there are some microbes on it, but not really so much for the fungi. But you do sense there is some in the room above that could be made to extend out and grow on it and whatnot.
Okay.
Well, and I guess there would be some spores on it too, just not a whole lot. Some fungi spores.
Basically, I'm trying to speed up, like, extremely rapidly, like, the process of decay. So, like, its arm falls off.
Okay. Yeah, as you reach out in the microbes and start accelerating what they should be normally doing, and the spores that you sense from the various fungi on it may start growing, you notice that it doesn't seem to be having any sort of decaying effect on it. But as the fungi are growing though, and kind of covering it as they get larger. You notice they start kind of glowing that same light. So the light y'all saw was some sort of bioluminescent fungus, but it doesn't seem to be actually decaying. Whatever's powering it or whatever turned it doesn't seem to be like natural in that regard.
Okay. I guess I'll try to make it grow to where it obscures its face.
Okay, so yeah, so the fungus just keeps kind of growing on it, and we'll as that's growing, we'll double back around to Respec.
Yeah, its back is still to me, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I'll probably going to come up and just try to kick it behind the knee there. No, behind its ankle, the retrograde.
Okay. Directly engage.
I'm sorry, I missed that.
Oh, sorry. Directly engage.
Okay. Yeah, let's see here. So, pick 2. So, I'd like to take their balance.
Okay.
And I guess that's also created an opportunity.
All right. So yeah, Respec kind of flips around and does a kick to its heel, kind of sending it off its equilibrium a bit as it's kind of trying to move up and turn at the same time. And there's so many targets around it, and it just kind of like falls on the stairs still, but falls on its side a bit as it kind of starts just kind of thrashing its arm around. And then Syphon. You see it now, it's just fallen on the ground, and so it's a much easier target.
So I try to get my spear through its head.
Okay, go ahead and roll to directly engage. Okay, but with the opportunity created by Respec, that gets a +1, so you get to pick one of the options from directly engage. Did I come through at that part?
Yeah, thinking.
Okay, I just know I've been having issues with people not with my voice not going through. I don't know if I'm not hitting the button on time or something or what.
Because I want to pick something, but I don't know what. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know, should I just, I guess I'll just create an opportunity for someone else to finish it off.
Okay, so as it falls to the ground, you kind of pull your arm back and stab into it again, going through its chest area a bit, almost kind of pinning it in place, giving Polymer, you're up.
Okay, so how's it handling all this? Is it still thrashing around, or has it is it? I mean, I know it's pinned, right?
Yeah, it's pinned on its side, and it is still trying to thrash a bit, but it's also trying to right itself, like get back up.
Okay. I know Mr. Body's thing is working on decaying it. Can I use Soothe to just sort of calm it and let it die peacefully?
You can try. I'm gonna need like not even a full hit. I'm gonna need at least a 12.
Okay, awesome. We'll see how this goes. That is not a 12.
Yeah, it's just it's so chaotic and so primitive. You can't get a good sense on it to feed it the emotions you wanted to feed it or remove the ones you wanted to remove.
Hooray!
And Mr. Body, you're gonna keep growing. About half of its body is now covered in the bioluminescent fungus.
Yeah.
You just gonna keep doing that, or are you gonna try anything else?
I was focusing on. I decided I was going to focus on its face.
Okay. Yeah, it's growing up and heading that way, but it hasn't quite reached its eyes or anything yet.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just going to like double down on that.
Go ahead and roll. It's gonna keep going whether you fail the roll or not, but if you succeed, it will speed up the process.
Unleash.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So as you kind of really double down on it and start pushing your power through it, it starts increasing the speed even more as it finally reaches its chin and face and starts growing up, covering its face in this glowing fungus. As it's still trying to pull itself upright, pinned down. Respec.
Let's see. So it's down on the ground. I'm going to start stomping on it, like its torso.
Okay, go ahead and roll to directly engage. The way it is thrashing, I will suggest that resisting its blows might be a good option to pick as one of them.
Yeah, I think I'll resist or avoid their blows and try to take their breath. Make it harder for them to, just breathe.
It's not really breathing, I'll give you that straight up.
Okay. I guess I'll go for create an opportunity again.
Okay. Feeling you like actively kicking down and stomping on its chest, it tries to bring both arms around to kind of swipe at you. But it manages to miss as you jump out of the way, and Syphon was able to kind of move to the side a little bit, still having it pinned down from an angle, as it's now Syphon's turn to go again.
I'll be right back as well. I need to restart my computer. There was an update.
Okay.
Go ahead and keep going. I'll catch up when I get back.
Okay. So I have one arm pinned in the chest, right?
Yes.
Oh, I want to go with the other arm to try and go for the head.
Okay, go ahead and roll to directly engage. All right, so as you move around to avoid its thrashing about again, you extend your other arm as it shifts rapidly with the same kind of grotesque noises that it normally makes, but you're used to, as it extends into another spear and just jams it straight into its head, as some of the fungus kind of like puffs up a little bit around it as it pierces through, and it gives a few final twitches before it finally just kind of collapses in on itself, seemingly done for. And then we'll go ahead and pause until Nimi gets back.
That. Sorry about that. I'm back.
Syphon just speared it through the head and it kind of collapsed in on itself dead.
Oh, nice going.
Thanks.
And so, as y'all kind of regroup from that and have time to actually survey the room, it's actually a pretty small room, and there is some of the fungus growing on the walls, glowing. That's where the source of the light seemed to be. And the kind of like pulse like to it, whether it was the creature's movement or not, you're not sure, but there is a rope as well in the center of the room that leads up to an opening at the actual top of the tower. As you get underneath and kind of look up, you can actually see like an undulating sphere of darkness as shooting kind of up in the sky off to the side there. So I'm assuming do y'all climb up, or do y'all do anything else, or?
The fungus, does it look like it? It wasn't on the lower floors, right?
Correct.
Does it look like it's somehow associated with this creature that we just killed, or are they two separate things?
Yeah, there's not any way that you can determine really, but I mean they don't seem to be connected in any way, as far as like just on surface level.
Okay.
The creature itself wasn't glowing with it until Mr. Body sped up the spore growth that it was on it.
You said more of this light's coming from above?
And above is the actual opening, like to the top of the tower, where you would actually be able to like kind of look over the walls and see the battlefield and surrounding area. And up there, you can kind of see a mass of darkness shooting up into the sky, like y'all saw from the distance of the tower.
If we remove some of this fungus from the wall, does it stop glowing?
No, you keep it clustered together, it keeps doing what it's doing.
Okay, I'd like to take some in case we need a light.
Okay.
Well, we came this far.
Yeah, I guess we should keep going.
Agreed.
All right. So who goes first?
I guess I'll keep going first.
Okay.
Yeah, not it.
So yeah, so you climb up the rope and kind of pull yourself up to the top floor, and at the top of the spire, there's a number of like kind of columns that kind of rise up on the side, around the edges of it, kind of cloaked in shadow. The light is real weird up here. There is light still from the sun, but because of the growing canopy of darkness in the sky, it's not a lot of it, and so it's kind of like a dusk type of sensation going on. In the middle, floating in the sky, is just a big ball of darkness, which would normally have been the source of the green revitalizing light, is now this anti-life, whatever it is. And yeah, so everybody gets pulled up there. Doesn't seem to be anybody around or anything, just the orb shooting off into the sky.
Let me see, the ball of darkness, I know you said it's hovering above us, but is it close enough that we'd be able to reach out and touch?
Yes.
I touched the darkness.
Do you really?
Do it.
Do you really? I'm not sure.
Yeah, should I roll anything for it? Do you want, or?
No, as you touch it, it kind of pulses really large burst of darkness as it kind of starts stretching down your hand, as you can't pull your arm away from it anymore, as it comes oozing, growing down your arm.
I'm gonna try to tackle her.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and roll directly engage. You need a full hit. Okay. So you slam into Polymer, knocking her back as her arm is ripped away from the orb, when you notice that as you kind of move yourself back upright, that part of her arm, like from midpoint between shoulder and elbow, actually stayed attached to the orb, as it's now just kind of a shoulder blade, basically a shoulder joint, basically left there, missing the arm.
Oh, great. Sorry.
But this
I'll be okay. It's not the first time. And then I just sort of adjust my cloak over it.
Yeah, there's no blood or anything.
Oh, okay. That's a neat trick.
Just the joys of being me, I suppose.
So, do we still have some of that fungus?
Yeah. Respec brought some up.
Do we have enough for a prosthetic arm?
I mean, if Mr. Body grew more.
I mean, I'm mostly kidding, but
I mean, I could try to grow you a new arm.
you know what? Sure, let's see. Let's see if it works.
Go horribly wrong.
I'll be fine without an arm for now.
Yeah, if you try, it's going to be Unleash. If you don't try, then yeah, she's just armless.
Do I recognize the fungus at all? Could I, like, assess?
Yeah, go ahead. I'm not even going to try to make up a scientific name for it or anything like that, but it's not an uncommon type of fungus that grows in this part of the world.
Are there any? Go ahead.
I was just going to say it seemed odd that it was only growing on the top floor, not the other ones, but other than that, it itself is not unusual.
Is there anything else? Like, is there like a medicinal use for it? Is there anything from like any culture?
It's mainly just used as a light source.
I'm gonna see if I can get it to grow around the orb. So I'm gonna take a little bit and place it on the floor next to the orb, and then try to get it to grow around it, or wherever.
So like kind of create a column up and then have it actually kind of grow onto the orb itself.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead and roll. Unleash. Okay, so you're able to start growing up a column of it as it creates more light up there to see, and as it goes up and reaches out to start growing around the orb, it starts shaping a sphere around it to engulf it, but whenever the orb kind of pulses out and if a piece of it touches the fungus, it engulfs it like it was Polymer's arm. But as the light kind of increases, y'all do notice at one of the columns a faint little kind of like almost like mask type at face height, something there, as you just hear it likes to be touched, it likes to spread, she had the right idea. But whatever it is, it stays in the shadow.
Respec would turn to Palmer. Did you feel anything? Did you? What was it like?
Polymer, it would have been kind of cold, not painful, but an odd sensation to it as well.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I'm gonna say that it was cold and it hurt, of course.
No, it didn't hurt.
Oh, I thought you said kind of painful. Never mind. It was cold, but something else I can't quite explain.
Freedom of death. That is what it was. That is what you felt.
Wait, freedom of what do you say?
Freedom of death.
Death. I heard guess.
Syphon, is there anything that you could think of that, drawing on your knowledge of being a death, whatever you are?
Well, do I know anything?
From before, whenever you were getting the one out of the well, it wasn't really. It didn't feel like your normal death energy. It was something different. Like there's life, there's death, and there's this. So it is something other entirely.
Okay. So no.
It wants to share. Give it, touch it, take it. Be part of it.
No. Who the hell are you anyway?
And as it steps out of the shadow, its body is kind of similar to the creature below in that it has like unnatural tendon like colors to it and whatnot. Its face is almost porcelain-like, as eyes wide, and his hands and face are kind of covered in the inky blackness. I am the one it has chosen.
By who?
It will free the world. Join us. Join us.
Free the world from what?
From death and from life and from suffering. You can be its chosen. You can be its elite. We can be like gods in the new world of it.
Uh-huh. So what's your name?
We have no names. There is only us. There's no need for names in the world to come. And it reaches out to take your hand.
Okay.
You take its hand.
Yeah, at the same time, I'm trying to, I guess, unleash and get a sense of what this being is.
Okay. Go ahead and roll unleash again. Yeah, so as it takes your hand, you extend your senses back into it directly, and you do sense it had life, like what you'd sensed below when you first came in. But it is faint and it's intermingled with the anti-life, and the life of it is slowly being faded out as it's overtaken by the darkness. And the hand itself, the inky blackness from its hand, kind of starts spreading onto yours as it reaches out its other hand to touch the orb, which sends like a wave of it down its arm, heading towards you across its torso as it connects you.
I guess I'm gonna try to push back with the life equation, my Mathmagician stuff, and maybe try to give a boost to the life that's within this thing, this person.
Okay, so let's see. The 7 was for that, right? Or have you not rolled for it?
I haven't rolled a second time.
Okay, roll again, yeah. Okay, so as the darkness kind of comes down across it, right when it would touch you, you increase the life energies within your hand and try to force it on, and it goes into its hand, kind of reinforcing it there, and the darkness kind of stops moving down as it starts fighting against it. It's you and the hand of this thing are clear of the darkness as it kind of fights against it, but it's not making any further progress. What is everybody else doing while this is going on?
Uh, I think I'm going to try to reach out and try to just mentally hook up and just kind of see what's going on in this person's head.
Okay, go ahead and roll.
Okay, do you want Unleash or the Psychic Release?
I'll leave that up to you for exactly what you want to do.
Okay, well, since Psychic Release says link minds with an NPC, I think this one.
Okay. Yeah, so as you reach out, its mind was once human, and now you feel thoughts of joy isn't the right word, but it's the best that fits, as it is engulfed by this anti-life and becomes something other, free from the bonds of life and death. Then a whole new aspect of reality unfolds around it, and it's a willing subject to what's going on, what's happening to it, and it wants to spread the same almost euphoric feeling it has with everybody.
But it's just feeling. It's not. There's nothing really beyond that. Like it. This person's still its own individual.
It seems to be, but that's so focused, and the only thing it cares about, the only thing it's thinking about, the only thing on its mind is spreading the sensation that it's feeling. You get that there are faint, very, very faint traces of memories that were once there. There's a caretaker in the area who happened upon it when it fell from the sky, but other than that, you can't get much more of the life of the entity of the person over past the level of feeling it has for what's going on.
All right, I imagine that takes some time. So.
Syphon or Polymer? Okay. So, Mr. Buddy, you just kind of keep trying to do the life thing then?
Yeah, I guess so. You're gonna roll again?
Actually, I'm going to need you to roll to take a powerful blow, as the darkness piece that was in your backpack suddenly like lashes out, ripping through the pack, connecting to the larger orb as a pulse of darkness kind of slams into it from behind as it tries to engulf you from there.
Okay. So I guess. Hold on. I'm going to mark 2 conditions. And I guess I'll, in desperation, yell out to Syphon, "What are you doing here? Why are you just standing there? Help me!" You know, flash out verbally thing.
Yeah.
Which I believe also inflicts a condition. Sorry. Oh, I guess, yeah, so it either provokes them into a foolhardy action or.
Right, or they get a condition.
Yeah, or they get a condition.
Yeah, so basically, Syphon, if you don't like act on him lashing out, you'll have a condition marked.
I'll act on it. Try to help him.
Okay, how are you going to do that?
So just so I'm understanding this right, this person is holding onto his arm.
Yeah, they're like holding hands, like they're shaking hands, and it tried to engulf him with darkness from that, but he's holding that back. But then the piece that he had in the pack on his back connected with the orb as well, and so now it's the darkness is basically trying to engulf him from his backpack and from the other creature, the other person.
Okay.
Hey, Kyle. If I want to use life web support, do I need to use that immediately, or do I wait?
Let me double check it, but I think it's whenever the next time you would roll, take a powerful blow.
Because it says when you mark a condition from taking a powerful blow, a quick calculation response allows you to tap into the life
Oh,
web.
that's right. Yeah. Okay, I misread it earlier. Yeah, go ahead and roll it if you want to use it. Okay, so you get to pick one.
I'll take +1 forward.
Okay. All right. So yeah, Syphon, how are you going to try to help?
I want to use Future Sight to see how this is going to go. And then act based on that.
Okay, go ahead and roll. Okay, so left with no other interference as you kind of look through the moments coming up, you you see that Mr. Body will be completely engulfed as the darkness from behind starts overpowering him. It weakens his connection to the life web, which allows him to, or which makes him lose influence over the other entity, which weakens their life energy there as it starts engulfing him from that way as well.
So I'll try and like break off their physical connection. See if that'll help. Like get in the way and try to get them separated.
Okay, so you just try to like knock him aside, or do you attack him, or how exactly do you try to break that connection?
Like kind of wait for their hands, like swat them apart.
Okay, go ahead and roll to directly engage. Okay, so yeah, seeing what's going to happen, you just run forward and basically smash into their the other guy's arm, knocking it to the side, breaking their grip. Um, so, Mr. Body, you feel your hand break free of the other one, the connection that you had with it breaking as well, but you still feel the darkness not kind of growing from behind you. Polymer.
I I don't know what to do, actually. I've just been, I guess, sort of hanging back for now.
Okay. So we will go back around and let's see, I think Respec.
Okay.
You see the darkness growing on Mr. Body as the creature is just like got the same kind of like creepy look on its face as he's watching him being engulfed.
Has the orb changed, like, in size or anything?
It hasn't really changed in size, but it does have a tendril basically connecting the orb to the piece of itself in the body, in the backpack on Mr. Body.
Can I rip the backpack off of Mr. Body? Or remove it?
Yeah, go ahead and that'd be a directly engage, or we'll make it a defend.
Okay. So, yeah, that's what I'm trying to do, is I'm trying to remove this backpack off of his body and try to just pull it away from there.
Okay. So, yeah, you rush forward and the little dagger, you manage to cut the tethers on it real quick and knock the bag and throw it away. As it does, small little tendrils kind of resist having it move, but it does break free. But there is still a small portion of the darkness on Mr. Body's clothes itself, but it's not connected directly to the orb anymore.
Okay.
And Mr. Body.
So is the darkness on the hand of the entity still, is it still clean of the darkness on their hand?
Once your connection was broken, it like overtook it again. And as soon as it covered its hand again, it brought the hand up to its face and like rubbing it across it. Why do you all resist the joy? This is wonderful. Join us. Join us in the new world.
No, thank you.
I'm going to try Unleash again on it, but without touching it, and try to reach into that life that's within it, and try to help it overcome the darkness with my +1.
Okay. Go ahead and roll. Unleash.
Well, I got a 7.
Okay. I know we haven't really been doing this yet, but I think it's pretty fitting. Would you want the effect to be temporary or unstable or market condition?
I'll mark a condition.
Okay. So yeah, as you reach out again from a distance this time, it's harder to connect, but you do make a connection and are able to kind of reinforce parts of the life force you feel. And while they don't seem to be growing, they don't seem to be diminishing either. Like you are kind of holding it at bay a little bit. Because before you had felt the life force diminishing. No, what? What? Stop it! Let it take me. I'm, I am its chosen. What are you doing?
I don't even respond. I just concentrate on what I'm doing.
Okay. Feeling that it's no longer being completely taken over by it, the person turns and actually makes a move to try to dive into the orb, or at least to as much as it can at the height it's at. Syphon, it would be your move. Basically, we have the backpack that's on the ground connected by tendril being drawn up into the air and pulled back into the orb as it reclaims part of itself. We have the infected person running towards the orb itself to try to touch it, basically, and overcome Mr. Body's influence. And there is still a small piece of the darkness on Mr. Body's clothes on his back after the backpack was ripped away that's slowly moving towards his neck, towards an open area. Right now, it's still on the clothes.
So I'll try to stop it from touching the orb.
Okay, how do you want to stop it?
I think, do I still have my spears? So they have to go back.
I couldn't make out what you're saying. What was that?
Do I still have my arms as spears? Or did they go back to being hands?
They would have had to have gone back to climb up the rope.
Okay.
But if you want to roll Dark Designs again to see if you get any hold or whatever, and then you can do something if you do.
Okay. I'm gonna do that. Okay, so I guess that's not happening.
We
So,
do have a team point.
if somebody can figure out a way to help her use her own abilities, basically better. That makes sense story-wise.
Might be able to do it psychically. I think that's kind of stretching it, though.
But does that mean the roll plus free?
Rolling plus freak is just rolling with that label. So rolling the move automatically uses your freak label stat.
Yeah, if you hover over it, that +3 at the end of the roll was your freak already figured in.
Damn. Okay.
Well, I guess if I'm close enough, could I give her an emotional boost with, like, kind of using Soothe on her? Would that count for the +1?
Yeah, you don't have to roll for it if it's just it's a team point, but just seeing the situation going on and knowing how dire it is and everything else, and you kind of sense that she might need something to help her focus a little bit more, so you kind of calm some of her anxiety going on with what's happening to Mr. Body and all the death that was coming up, that energy that she felt, and just the strangeness of it all, and it gives her just that edge. So you to make it a successful action, so that gives you 2 hold that you can use for the options there.
Okay. So now I guess I'll use one and make my arm into like I can't think of a better way to explain this than to like one of those giant pizza paddles, just to like block off this person from getting to the orb.
Okay. So go ahead and roll to directly engage. All right. So yeah, you bring your arm back, and their hand kind of shifts more so than the arm itself into this giant elongated mass. And you just kind of bring your arm back, and you swat at him, knocking him back away from the orb, slamming him kind of up against one of the columns. No, no, let me go. Join us. Let me go. Why are you stopping this? This is beauty. This is perfection.
Shut up! And then I try to slap him again with the giant hand.
All right. Well, we'll switch back around to Polymer then at that point to see if he wants to do anything. Be a second action.
Let me see. You said there was still darkness moving up Mr. Body's clothes, right?
Yes.
Well, I guess I do have a dagger. I could try and cut that away. Is it like still far enough off of him that I'd be able to cut it away?
Yeah. Go ahead and roll defend.
Never mind.
All right. So yeah, as you're trying to cut away at it, you're doing this one-handed, so it's very kind of awkward, and you're not able to position yourself just right, and you actually do succeed in getting it off of his clothes, but that's because it moves onto your arm and starts climbing upwards towards your face.
Oh, excellent.
Okay, Respec. Hey, the creature is on the ground now. Syphon's kind of standing over it with the paddle arm, about to smack at him again. You see the piece of darkness move from Mr. Body to Polymer, as Mr. Body is still focusing on his magics.
Okay, and the backpack, are there still tendrils going to it?
It's about to be absorbed into the orb. It's very close to it now as it pulls it back in.
I'm going to try for the backpack again.
Okay. Like just to try to tackle and take the whole backpack, or?
Just take the backpack because it's got the orb in it. It's probably easier than trying to pull the orb out.
Okay, go ahead and that'd be probably directly engage, unless you have another move that you think would be more accurate.
Probably not. Yeah, I'd like to take the backpack.
Okay. So you just kind of you go make a running leap at it, and you leap into the air. You grab onto the backpack, kind of flip around, pulling it tight to your chest on the backside, and you do manage to get the backpack, but it slips off from around what was the piece that was inside, and it just kind of pulls itself back into itself as you slam onto the floor, holding the empty backpack.
Okay.
And Mr. Body.
So where is the guy at? Or person?
It is on the ground up against one of against the wall, basically, at the edge, with Syphon standing over him, about to swat at him again.
And then the backpack.
The backpack is empty. Respec has it, and the piece that you had has been taken back into the orb, the large orb.
Oh, great. Okay.
And now Polymer also has some of the darkness on her.
Oh God. What is the orb sitting on?
The orb itself is floating.
Oh, it's floating. Okay. Is there any way for me to like? So the orb is free from, or well, this guy is saying that the orb frees people from both life and death.
Correct.
So I wonder if there's a way for me and Syphon to like, with our powers combined, do some Captain Planet shit and like shoot life and death into the orb. Simultaneously. Or maybe, yeah.
Okay, so how would y'all want to go about doing that exactly?
I don't know. It's not really living or dead. It's an inanimate, well, as far as I can tell, it's an inanimate object.
I mean, if y'all figure out a course of action, you're absolutely free to try.
How does your death magic work, Syphon?
I'm not sure I even understand.
Beyond the moves you have on there, otherwise it functions kind of like you did as in your hero form. The moves just have extra abilities with it.
So how does it work with like the energy absorption part of that? Does it?
I mean, normally you try to absorb people's life force and absorb their energy, but you could potentially try to reverse it and basically inflict death on them, like a death beam type of thing.
Okay.
So, like, maybe if she and I both shoot life and death beams into this orb at the same time.
Okay, if that's what you want to do, both of y'all go ahead and roll Unleash Your Powers. Okay, Syphon, do you want yours to be temporary or unstable, or do you want to mark a condition instead?
Market condition.
Okay, so as you take your focus away from the entity with your trying to reinforce its life, so you can focus on this as you draw up energy from the life web and channel it out through your hands and out into the orb. As Syphon, you kind of do the same, reaching into all this death energy that you from this battle that's been going on, and draw that up and project it into the orb as well. And as you both do this, the orb starts like fluctuating wildly, and larger tendrils kind of lashing out, and it's as it moves around and pulses faster and faster, as then suddenly everything freezes. You, the orb, the battle, everything. And then reverberating across reality, it feels like you just hear the words simulation paused, and we'll end there.
All right. Thank you for running.
I hope it enjoyed it. It's kind of not as good as I was hoping. I feel on my end, but it's been like a long time too.
I mean, I dug it at least, so yeah.
And like last time, since it's not really the main characters, the end of session moves aren't really gonna be all that fitting. So we'll kind of.
Oh, actually, yeah. Speaking of, what are we doing about potential? Because I got enough for an advancement off of this round.
Yeah, keep track of those. That'll go into your main character.
Okay, that was kind of what I was wondering.